My name is Patrick Joseph in Denmark. I love Dominica. I intend to return to Dominica, but I'm still prolonging my full change of abode. We Dominicans overseas are hearing very serious and disturbing accusations concerning the Prime Minister. And to me, they are no longer allegations, but accusations of the Prime Minister's ownership of villas. The Premier's silence is very conspicuous, and Danes are asking me, how can the Premier allow these accusations to continue if they are untrue? And why is the Prime Minister not taking Mr. Linton to court? I am now respectfully putting these questions to you, Mr. Prime Minister, and I am expecting you to respond and allay our concerns. Comments coming from my friends are very worrying. For example, they are saying that lack of action by the Premier is a sign of guilt. I am hereby urging the Prime Minister, for the good of the Premier's office and Dominica, to take action and pursue the matter in court. Mr. Prime Minister, please take Mr. Linton to court. Mr. Prime Minister, are you going to take Mr. Linton to court? If the answer is no, why not, Mr. Prime Minister? Mr. Prime Minister, your good name is being vandalized far and wide. Please act, Mr. Prime Minister.
I'll ask the Honourable Prime Minister to respond to the various matters that have been raised, and then he will call on one of his ministers. Before that, there's something that I would like to share with you all about this thing of what people say. Because sometimes I get the impression that some people get up in the morning and ask themselves, whom am I going to try to bring down today? It's a constant thing that goes on. And I think we have to remember that what people say cannot make you what you're not. If somebody says you're a thief and you're not a thief, that cannot make you a thief. And there seems to be a tendency. One of the things that we agreed on is, let us learn, as President Obama says, to disagree without being disagreeable. And I noticed that in one of his songs that we talked about earlier, Midnight Groovers is saying, reflect before you talk. We have to understand how things can spread. And you know what we have to do? If we hear something, the more serious is the thing we hear about people, is the more we are concerned to have our facts before we speak. Because it seems as if in Dominica, I see a trend that if I say something about you, and I keep saying it, unless you respond, I'll assume you're guilty. I think we have to be careful about that. We cannot do that to one another. And I've heard the Prime Minister, and I'm sure he's going to speak on this issue, but I don't think our jurisprudence requires us that if somebody makes an accusation against us, unless we take them to court, continuously. Because if you say something continuously and it's continuously wrong, it's wrong. Saying it continuously does not make it right.
Let me say to my Dominican Danish friend, or Dane, did you also hear that I own a boat and I own apartments in Dominica and New York? Didn't you also hear that I own crazy coconuts? Did you also hear I own a home in St. Joseph? Did you also hear that I own the former building, which is Venus Guest House? You heard that too? Should I sue everybody who says that about me? Should I sue everybody who says anything about the Prime Minister? And how often would I have to go to court to deal with issues? So because some guy, and I don't want to use the language I want to use, I'll say from the language I have to use. But let me say to you that I am not going to waste my time on these people who are out there who are hell-bent on taking this government out, bringing this government down, denigrating the government. I will not waste my time. This matter was debated squarely in the elections of 2009. I stated my case to the American people. They listened to every viewpoint, and they made a decision in 2009. I'm not going. You can.
This what is being said here is being heard overseas. It is destroying the good name of the Prime Minister's office. Your name is being vandalized. Your silence is a sign of violence.
That is typical of those who don't support the government. That they ask questions, but they do not want the response to the questions and so forth. Unless the response is what they have already planned in their minds. You understand? So you can take whatever anybody says about the Prime Minister and decide what you want to, how you want to treat it. But I am telling you that Roosevelt is not going to waste his time on these people who are hell-bent on bringing this government down. I have things to do. I have dealt with this matter squarely in the public before. I have stated my case in this matter, and I am not going to be responding to every single thing that is said about Roosevelt or the Prime Minister. So if you want to believe whatever you want to believe, you take it and you go back to Denmark with it and do whatever you want with it. But as far as I am concerned, I have dealt with this matter. Well, you can do whatever you want. If you want, you can do whatever you want. But I am telling you, they can shout, they can scream on this matter. I have stated my case in this matter, and you won't get me to respond to these guys every single day and every issue. And that's what I have to say on this matter.